Hi everybody. Okay. It's going to be a flossing video. I'm not really like an. I don't know. I'm doing this because I didn't feel like taking a picture of me flossing because of a pain in the butt. I thought it'd be easier to just do this. I have it set up right now is I have a mirror that's hanging from a CD spindle. A CD spindle. Yeah, I know, right? Because I still have CD. I still have recordable. I still have old CD RWs and DVD RWs with media saved, with stuff saved on them from years ago. So, on a spindle. Let's see. And connected to that is a little mirror that needs to be cleaned because God, that's disgusting. All right, so it's right here, and that's what I'm going to use to floss into because I'm going to see what I'm doing. And then you can see, now here, I want to explain a few things about floss, okay? Right off the cuff, like I said, my brain is right now, so I may forget some things, but there are a few things that come to mind immediately that I want to make very, very clear. Because I've gotten flossed like this. Like I'm about to show you how not to do it. I've gotten flossed like this by dental hygienists before. It's crazy. Dental hygienists. Okay, so you got to take a good length of floss like this, all right? And the thing is this. Okay, now when I first started out flossing, here's the thing. You want to get in the habit of flossing, all right? And it's a pain in the ass for most people to do. I understand that because I didn't do it. Just like everybody else for years. I didn't. I got to get in the habit of looking down there. For years, I did not do it because But I'll tell you, once you get in the habit, it is not how. It's the impression you have of flossing right now. If you don't floss, it is not really like that. It's super easy. It's easier than brushing. It is actually easier than brushing for the recommended amount of time because it doesn't even take that long. But there are a couple things that you want to remember. Okay, what you're doing when you floss, what you are actually doing is they're called proximal surfaces of the teeth. If you look earlier today, I posted a diagram of the surfaces of the teeth. Okay, now the surfaces of the teeth that are the sides that touch each other are called the proximal surfaces. Okay, and the area in between those areas, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go grab an Explorer. I'll be right back. Okay, I don't know how well because the camera on this isn't all that good. Right here, okay. So these areas, right here, in this spot where I'm sticking this in here, those are called. That's the interproximal areas because it's between the two proximal surfaces of each tooth. Okay. What you're doing when you use floss is you are using the floss to scrape those proximal surfaces of up and down on each side of the tooth. So you don't just go in there. It's not just to get like some food in the interproximal area out or something like that. You're not doing this. Up and then down, out. Okay? What you're doing when you floss is you're trying to scrape the proximal surface, distal and mesial, of each tooth. Okay? So for example, I'm just going to quickly show you here, and because then I'm just going to floss after I do this, and I'm not going to, because that way it doesn't take forever. Okay, watch here. Up and to the left, right there, like that. Out. Advance it a little bit in the same interproximal area, and then on this side, up and down. Now what you're going to do is, now see, look, you can see crap on there. All right, this is why you want to advance you don't want to go into this. You don't want to take the same bacteria that you took off there and then go to the next one and then it's gonna, you know what I mean? Duh. Obviously that's not. I've seen people do that too. You don't want to. Professionals I've seen do this. You don't want to do that. Now, also too, here's the thing. You don't want to use too much pressure, but you also don't want to do like this. You know what I mean? You want to use a little bit of tension to get some of that. You want to get the soft plaque off there. That's what you're trying to do. Now, I've seen dental hygienists do this. This is now that you know, right? You know what you're flossing to do, right? With that in mind, what would you do if you went in and you saw a dental hygienist do this? Okay, ready? Hold on. I shit you not. I shit you not. I have gotten that. I've had that happen from dental hygienist. Never at a good dental office like Olson Dental. They don't. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that kind of crap at Olson Dental at all. You're going to get that at Western Dental and at Gentle Dental. Is where you're going to get that. You're going to get that at places like Western Dental that don't even have hygienists on staff. They have the dentist do the cleanings because you know why? They don't want to spend extra money. That's why. It's disgusting. It is absolute. Oh, don't even get me started. I'm sorry. It's about flossing. Okay, so here's the thing. So that's what you want to do, right? Now remember also too on your back on the most distal side of the rearmost molar that you have, it's going to be different again depending on if you have your wisdom teeth or not or whatever. But whatever your backmost tooth is, you want to make sure that you use the floss not just in between the teeth, but on the backmost side of the surface of that tooth, like that. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Now it's okay, by the way. Like I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? I don't know where I use that. It's okay to do a quick, you know what I mean, wipe or whatever to get the crap off. But generally advance every time you go around, okay? So we're going to start out like this. I'm just going to start over. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a new piece of floss. Floss is cheap, whatever. Okay, ready? And I'm going to get back to flossing with like plackers or like those things, those little floss picks. I'll tell you about that in a minute because that's how I started ever flossing. That's how I went from flossing from no flossing to flossing, and that's good. So I mean, like if you need to start out using those, go ahead, but advance to real dental floss. That's what you really want to use. And real thread floss is better than tape floss. I'll talk about that later. All right. But something's better than, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Don't be like, well, I went to go buy dental floss and they only have the tape floss, so they're gonna hold off. Like, don't do that. Like, buy the tape floss and use it. You know what I mean? Okay. And also, you might want to get waxed floss. It's easier to get in between the teeth. You know what I mean? It can be really, depending on how tight your teeth are there. Like it can be really tough to get the floss in. I mean, like really tough, like not workable for some people. So maybe get waxed floss. Okay, that's the most common kind anyway. So here we go, and then I'm going to advance as I move along. Okay. Do I need more light here? Let's see if I can get some more light. In most things in life, dentistry included, oral hygiene included, light is your friend. Absolutely. You go into a dentist's office, it's lit up like a fucking prison yard in there because because it makes all the difference. I'm telling you, you cannot see. It's amazing, like calculus that you cannot see in dim light. It's and I'm also going to talk about, speaking of calculus, and I'm going to talk about disclosing tablets another day, not today. But you can look those up if you like, if you want to do the pre-reading for class. That's good. So here we have, I have a little bit here on this finger, and most of it is here. I'm going to unwind as I go around like that. Okay. Hold on. These tonsil stones I have, man, they are such a problem. They cause like snorting. They cause like trouble with breathing. The other night when I was doing my prayer video, and I have that instability in pitch a little bit. You heard my pitch go like that from the tonsil stones. It kills me because I love to sing. I really do, and it's like, you know, and I end up, my standards are high in music, so it's like, don't you know? I mean, I wouldn't beat myself up too much, but don't you? I'm going to another piece, by the way, of dental floss. So, oftentimes I try to use sometimes a piece per arch. Sometimes I can be really frugal and not, you know, and do if I really need to a single piece for both arches. But you know, ideally, make sure you don't want to take bacteria from one area and then move it to another. You really don't. And floss is cheap. I mean, honestly, I use floss liberally, and it lasts a very long time. Now you don't want to do. You want to go gentle. Because if you do this aggressively, you can cause recession. Now, I, as a former smoker, you know, have issues with recession because that causes recession. Recession causes bone loss. And when you have no bone, well, you need Viagra, and it's not good. All right. I was just thinking there's a Motec by Palestrina called Obone Jesu, and it looks like Obone Jesu if you look at it. Is that, you know? But I was just wondering, I wonder if Palestrina kind of got that. And I'm like, well, no, he's Italian, so the word boner in Italian, you know what I mean? Like, no. I don't know how you say boner in Italian, but it probably is not boner. Okay. So there we go. The entire mouth is flossed. Yeah, you can't see. Light's your friend, and there's not very much light in here. But it makes a difference, and I can't recommend flossing enough. My good dental hygienist friend. I don't have a bad dental hygienist friend. I'm just saying there are crappy. You know, you think just like doctors. It's not just dentists in dentistry. It's not just there. You think though that. You know, you go to a doctor. You know, you think that the minimum level of competence is probably better than it really you can count on it being. Honestly, and that's the truth. I mean, and unfortunately, you know, like in medicine, I gripe about this all the time to myself because I'm like, how do I know? I don't know. I'm not a. You know, we don't know what they know. And so we have to sort of take it on faith or take it from someone's reputation or literally, I mean, I'll admit this because I know that I have pretty high standards and I'm doing this shit. And so I know that you're all doing it too. How do we pick doctors? When we get an insurance book and we have to pick a new physician, I oftentimes go by the name. I'm like, that sounds like a nice name. This sounds racist, whatever. I look for Jewish doctors. I do because, you know, I mean, like, yeah, it's a stereotype. But like, you know, I don't have anything else to go on unless I know that somebody says like, oh, you know, this dude or this woman's a great doctor. If I don't have that, it's like I'm looking through the book and I'm like, what sounds good? You know what I mean? Like what? I don't know, because I don't have anything else to go on, and that's what you're doing too, and that's what we're all doing, and it's you know, it's tough to get a good doctor, and that's why if you need a good dentist, I recommend Olson Dental. Dr. Olson is great, and I have not met Dr. Corton yet, but I looked at the website and I looked at his blurb. First of all, any doctor that Dr. Olson's going to have and keep is going to be good people. So, I trust him absolutely, and that's good when you have anything, whether you have it's a confessor at church that you confess to, or whether it's a doctor or a dentist that you have faith in that you go back to see regularly. It's nice to be able to have that kind of a trust relationship with somebody. It really is, it's priceless. There's not a lot of that going on in the world. I don't know about maybe different people have different experiences, but in my life, those things are far and few between, and so I really value them. Let me see. Also, what else do I want to say? I don't know if I was wondering if Julia Harris was a good dentist. The character, like she's a sexual. You know what I mean? She's like always sexually harassing Charlie Day. But I wonder how good of a to the extent that the character is more fleshed out. I wonder if she was a good dentist or if she was like a crappy dentist. Now, I'll be honest with you. Remember I was talking about how your dentist should be dressed? On those standards, she's not looking too great. But a lot of times, I'll tell you, women. I mean, she wasn't as bad as Dr. Sonia. Okay, Dr. Sonia is a little bit too. She's a plastic surgeon. Okay, so of course she's a little bit flashy. So Jennifer Aniston looked at a little bit there. I mean, it's hard to say, but it's Jennifer Aniston. It's a good movie. So the nice thing is you can believe that she's a great dentist if you want to. You can believe that she's a terrible dentist if you want to. Who knows? Because apparently she does sedation dentistry where her patients are knocked out. So who the hell knows? But we know that, what though, if you want to get fondled by your dentist, then you need to go to Dr. Julia Harris, because she's doing all kinds of stuff to her patients when they're asleep. It's a great, that's one of my favorite movies, though, it really is. It makes me laugh a lot, But anyway, and you don't have to worry about that. At Dr. Olson's, don't worry. And I know, as far as I know, at Western Dental, they're spending so little time with you that they do not have time to sexually molest you at there. So don't worry about that. If you're going to Western Dental or you're going to General Dental, as far as I know, none of these places are sexually molesting patients. So that's good. Anyway, so that's how you floss your teeth. I'm trying to think of anything else. Flossing. The tape. Okay. The reason why I was talking about the tape not being as good as the thread is like a little bit more traction. Think of it as bald tires that don't grip the road very much versus like a nice set of like treads, that really grip the road, that allow the tire to grip the road. I don't know if that's anecdotal. That's not ADA. ADA's never said anything like that to me. That's my own personal experience with dental floss. That's what that's the takeaway from it. And I have heard dentists tell me that all things being equal, go with the thread floss, and I think that's probably why. Now the placard things like the floss picks. When I first started let me tell you how I got so into my oral hygiene. I'll tell you how that happened real quick before I go, because that makes sense. I was like everyone else. The way I grew up, I didn't. My family didn't teach me how to brush. It's funny because I ran into kids later when I was in cosmetology school of kids that were millennials, young kids that. They knew how to brush. Like their parents literally taught them to do the 3 minutes, and I was impressed. I was like, that's great, because I never got any instruction on how to brush as a kid. I mean, like only the most basic. So my way of brushing that carried through to adulthood was to maybe the toothbrushes in my mouth for total up and down 20 seconds, and just like enough to like literally, and then scrub it, scrubbing hard, especially because if you'd miss, you think you got to get in there with the brush, which that really, it's not really effective, because after 24 hours, once the plaque solidifies, or it hardens, it's not going to come off with a toothbrush really. So, and let me tell you, with plaque hard, wow, it is. It's amazing. I mean, I'm sure those of you that have been to the dentist and you feel like that pulling sometimes that they got to do with that scaler, like because it gets on there hard. It is really hard. There's a lot of physical, mechanical action in dentistry. Whether it be like for extracting teeth, sometimes they have to brace and pull. I mean, like it could be a real violent business. Anyway, though, so. That was the way and I'm not blaming my parents, because that's how they didn't know either. I mean, they learned. People do the best that they can in most cases, especially with their own kids, and they were just doing what they knew. And I don't, my mom, I didn't really grow up with her, so I remember she always wanted me to drink milk at the table. My dad's family they were like Pepsi people at the table, So I do a little bit of both now as an adult, but I do drink the Coke Zero. I go with the 0 calorie. Artificial sweetener stuff, because that's easier to keep the weight off if you're going to drink a fair amount of soda. Anyway, back to the teeth. So 20 seconds max. And then what happened is one year, it was the year that I got braces, and it's like Dr. Olson has these records. I don't have them immediately. I could look. I get stuff. I could put it together because I took pictures of my braces as I went through, and I posted the pictures of the panoramic X-ray I got. That was what year was that? That was 2011 or something like that. But what precipitated that is I showed up at the dentist's one day after having not been in for cleaning, and I just recently gotten sober, okay? And I was like, I gotta go to the dentist, and I hadn't been to the dentist in like 5 years, and I had like 5 or 6 cavities, and I was like, this is fucking insane. You know what I mean? I don't know why it hit me then, because I've done that before, where I didn't go to the dentist for several years, then you have several cavities, then you got to get those filled, then you go through the whole cycle again. But this time, for some reason, I was like, whoa, no. So I was like, what do I got to do? And they were like, you got to floss, and I was like, and I did it. For some reason, I did it. From that moment on, it became very serious to me, and from that day on, I've always taken I've flossed as much as I could, and I've taken my dental hygiene very seriously since that day. Very shortly after, I came home, and I was like, because I always wanted braces. My family never had money for braces as a kid, because braces are kind of still expensive. It's amazing. The price of braces has not really gone down in all these years. It's still pretty bright. I don't know what the deal is with that. Everything else in the world, you know what I mean? Once it's been around for a while, even drug prices drop after they've been around for a long time. But I have no idea why braces are still fucking expensive. Maybe it's because of I don't know. Maybe it has more to do, of course, with it's not so much the technology. It's the medical expertise or the dental expertise that really you're paying for. Because that, you know what I mean? That's really what it is. But anyway, so at that time I was living with Bob. And I came home, and I'm like, Bob, now, of course, the way I do things, I kind of remind myself of Hyacinth Bouquet sometimes, because I came home, and I'm thinking of that episode of Keeping Up Appearances where Hyacinth tries to get him to buy the friggin' Rolls Royce, and that, if you haven't seen that, that is so friggin' funny. It is so me years ago, not like when I was 18, 19, the kind of the way I did, you know what I mean? I was just always very concerned with appearance, and oh man. But anyway, so here I had this appointment with Dr. Olson. I don't remember what it was, and at the end of it, I'm like, because I was saying I don't like certain aspects of my smile and stuff, and he's like, well, have you considered orthodontics? And I was like, knowing that, I don't have the money for that, Bob, it'd be Bob that's paying for it, but I'm like, yeah, let's make an appointment. And I go home, and I'm like, Bob, just so you know, I made a cosmetic evaluation appointment, and he's like, for braces, and he's like, no. And I'm like, come on, it's just, all it is just, and it was kind of like Bob was very, very good to me, honestly, because I didn't, the cool thing is I was never, I wasn't excessive, and Bob knew that deep down, So I mean, he was always willing. He always did what he could for me. I mean, I miss him. I was thinking about him a lot today. I really miss him a lot. I really just miss his company, because we lived in the house together for so many years, and he was my best friend. And we had a lot of good times. We'd like to watch the same shows, and we laughed. We liked the same kind of humor and stuff like that, and we like to eat the same kind of food for the most part. I mean, he didn't like seafood at all. He actually was more restrictive than I am, but the foods he enjoyed, I also enjoyed, so that was fun. You know what I mean? I ate a lot of foods that Bob didn't eat, but I also ate all the foods that he did eat. So I mean, we had a great time. We were just two peas in a pod, and I missed him a lot. I really do. But anyway, so he just like the cat. When I first got the cat, I got the cat because he's like, no, I'm not a cat person at all. And I got the cat, my cat, evil cat, when he was away on a business trip. And I was like, on the phone, I was like, hey, I got a cat. And he blew up. If you've seen me blow up online, it was like that. take that fucking thing back. I'm not doing it. Now I knew he was going to be a pushover because Bob is a pushover for animals, just like everybody. If you've ever seen the episode of The Honeymooners where Alice gets a dog and doesn't tell Ralph, and then Ralph is like, does the same thing. Yeah, take it back. It's too small. We don't have the money. And then he's like, oh, gee. He loves it. He falls in love with it. I gotta get gets me mad that I can't have where I'm supposed to be looking be where I see the monitor. That'd be easier for me to look because I keep looking there, what's with his eyes? Have you ever seen 29th Street? What's with his eyes? The doctor keeps looking up to the left. Anyway, so that's what happened with the cat. I got the cat when he was away, and so braces. He acquiesced on that too. It was pretty awesome because it was a Ford. We made it a Ford. Was it actually no. Tell you the truth, it wasn't. Western Dental does this thing where they let you pay, as you go, and we did. And Bob is like me. If he can pay something in full, general, he'll do it just to get it out of the way, and. We did fork up. I mean, when I got my new 2014 Toyota Yaris, he paid for that cash because he used income tax return money from. He had filed several years of income taxes at once. He was not very good at paying taxes on time, so he paid. He finally did file several returns at once, and the money he got back. Part of that, he bought my car cash. But anyway, so braces he paid pretty much. I don't know if he paid them all at once. It was $5,000 or $6,000 just for braces, and then there were the dental restoration. There was other dental work that I had to have done. He spent about $10,000 or $15,000 on my teeth. And anyway, to this day, I take care of them now. And so here's the thing too. They say that if you're trying to quit biting your nails, getting manicures sort of helps. I don't know if it's that, but I can tell you that each one encourages the other. I don't think I take care of my teeth today because I have braces. Honestly, I'd like to say that. I got braces. I'm going to make sure. It's just that no, that's not really it at all. It's just that I got braces because I wanted to take care of my teeth, and I still continue to take care of my teeth, and I like to take care of my teeth. And here's the thing, I didn't really wear my retainers at all for the 4 years I was homeless. Every now and then I would snap them in, and somehow, by the grace of God, my teeth didn't relapse in all that time. Which it's interesting because as an adult, if you get adult braces, the adult dentition is much more prone to relapse. Relapse in dentistry means that, or in orthodontics means that the teeth return to their former positions. After having braces, and they didn't really. I mean, next to nothing. What happened is, if you remember, I had to push them in there and kind of leave them in there for a while, and then you know what I mean. They didn't fit perfectly, but they stretched. They expanded to where they did. Now my retainers fit perfectly. Thank God. Sometimes the relapse is so much so that you can't use them anymore. And I'm grateful that didn't happen. That's the Lord right there. But from that time, I took care of my teeth, and this was just prior to me going back to cosmetology school. I used to come home from cosmetology school once a month and go to my braces adjustment appointments. Braces hurt; they do. It's not in a way that you would think too. A lot of times it's that arch wire in the back, man. After an adjustment, that is a killer. But I don't know. I'm glad. I can't tell you how glad I am to be back at my home dentist, Dr. Olson. Not only was I glad to be back there for the dental care, but going in that office. See, I've gone there since '98. Dr. Olson, when I first moved out here, Dr. Olson was the first dentist that I settled on, and I got lucky because I'm not the type of guy. Honestly, I've left. I'm not just one of those types of people that find it, as you know, I think by now, I don't have to explain this, but I don't find a doctor and I'm like, that's the one I went with first, so I'm sticking with it forever. No, I just happened to get lucky. I looked up, I don't name, I got lucky. It's the Lord that picked the dentist for me, honestly, because I've definitely a number of times picked randomly like I did that day and ended up with shit. Not in dentistry though, because I found Dr. Olson when I first came out here, and I knew I had a gem, and I've stuck with him as much as I could, and it was great to see him. It was anyway. So the point being, aside from the dentistry though, because when I go in that office, I've been in there several times with Bob. It's like it's my history. You know what I mean? There's a sense of familiarity there, and it's very, very nice. You know what I mean? Because I feel very sad that I can't have Bob with me anymore. Bob and I shared so many things, and in a way, when I go back to that office, it's like I'm going back there with Bob. You know what I mean? It's like having Bob still. It's a way to sort of memorialize the past for me, a very good past. You know, something that I, you know, I don't want to forget, and I want to maintain as a part of me, even though I live on my own now. My life is going in a different direction because it's time to do that. There are certain things that we bring our past with us, and I learned that from Jewish tradition, studying the Bible, and you know, the Jewish culture and habit of remembering holidays and memorials and things like that. Kind of made a very big impression on me. So I do that in my life. That also changed my attitude towards my birthday. I do now. You know, for a very long time in my life, I was like, oh, birthday, you know, big deal. I don't know, celebrate my birthday. Now I celebrate my birthday. I do. Even if I'm alone, I make it not a huge. I mean, I do. I make a deal. I make a thing out of it. I don't just ignore it. It's just on another day. I do something, you know, because I remember it's important to do that, because it encourages us to stop, take a moment, and remember what's important, and give thanks and have gratitude for what God's done for us, and that's very, very important. So thank you for attending Mass today at Our Lady of the Dental Floss Catholic Church right here at Apartment 38 of the St. Peter's Rula. Thank you very much, and I'm just going to let it go now. And I'm glad I did this video. I'm going to do more dentistry videos, because dentistry, music, theology, those are all very, very big, important things to me that I never tire of talking about, and I talk about them over and over again, because they you know, for my own enjoyment, for my own pleasure, for your good pleasure, I hope. So thank you very much, and I love you. Goodbye. What is going on here? We're going to up these production value. We will. You know what? It's quality content first, and then production value second. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't want to have, well, you don't, vice versa. You don't want to have that. I mean, ideally, great videos of nothing to watch. Great produced videos of nothing interesting is. I'd rather not have that, right? I'd rather have shitty quality videos that are compelling, because the other we can work on, and we will. Thank you very much. God bless. Love you. Bye bye.